Today, we're playing the League of Legends card game, also known as Project K. It is available in the tabletop simulator thanks to the Project K community server, which I will have linked down below. And I am playing right now against Marshall, who is, a pretty familiar face on the channel. Marshall, what's up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Project K.
So Marshall is an expert at this point. He's been playing for an entire day. We only played for like an hour before recording this video to kind of get the hang of it. We played Volibear against Yasuo, and you know what? I say we just run that back. I'm gonna take the Volibear deck right here.
And I will pick up my my boy Yasuo.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go through this again. You're gonna have to help me a little bit setting this up. So this is my deck right here that I have, right? And this is my my Volibear. That is my partner. So this goes here. And this is Volibear himself, who is basically the entire deck itself. It is a red-orange. I think they have different names, but basically a red-orange deck, which means that I can pick any red and orange card during deck building. And this is basically a passive power. This says, when you play a unit with 5 or more power, you may exhaust me to play your top rune exhausted. Runes are mana, so every time I play a unit with 5 or more power, I ramp. And next to that is the partner champion. This is what people compare to the commander that you have in Magic. This is just next to your deck, essentially, and you can play this whenever. It's always there, but once it dies, it is dead. But as soon as you have the mana, you can just play this. It's like you have it in your hand from the very beginning. Now, Marshall's already moving the card next to me because this is Volibear, Relentless Storm, which means that my partner champion, I don't know if that's the official name for it, but your partner champion can be a champion of that same name. So I can pick this Volibear or this Volibear, and they both have slightly different effects that we'll go over later. In Marshall's case, Marshall's playing Yasuo, the Unforgiven, which passive effect is pay 2 mana and exhaust him to move a friendly unit to or from your base. We're gonna have, oh, this is the base actually, this area here, and we're gonna have some battlefields here, which will all make sense later, but that doesn't mean that Yasuo, as the passive power, can have a Yasuo supporting partner, a champion partner, whatever you want to call it. So that is the setup for now. I'm going to put this Volibear back into my deck. These are my runes. I'm gonna flip them over. This is my mana, essentially. So there we go. And this is
give it a shuffle.
All right.
They're all gonna be
Yeah, there you go. Okay, this is my deck. We'll flip that over. Main deck goes here, and these are my battlefields, right?
Yep. So okay. I don't know if you want to show what the battlefields each do for the trial decks.
Yeah, I'll show it for mine actually. So we have let's flip them over right there. Okay, so we have Sigil of the Storm. Spells and ability affecting units here deal 1 bonus damage. Players play 1 additional rune during their first runic phase this game. And when you conquer here, recycle 1 of your runes. This all probably doesn't make a lot of sense right now. But what happens with battlefields is before the game starts, you have a little stack of your battlefields. Okay, so in a 1v1, what you do is you shuffle this, exactly. And if you do the same, we can show it right here. We have 3 battlefields that I chose for my deck, even though these are starter decks, but normally you can pick 3 battlefields. And what you do is you pick one of them after shuffling, and you put it right there. And then Marshall picks one too.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's not, okay, there you go. So it's in the I'm sorry, I'm getting used to the tabletop mechanics. So we both picked a battlefield, and what we do now is we shuffle it. There we go. Yep. And then the top battlefield, which is either, there's 2 cards, so it's either mine or Marshall's. We pick the top one, this one, and whoever's battlefield it is, goes first. So we flip it over. That's mine. I go first. Get destroyed. I don't even know if that's a good thing, but, we'll take it. You have Targon's Peak. So these are the battlefields that we'll be playing with. If you want a comparison, basically locations from Marvel Snap, essentially. These are the places that we need to conquer. So what's going to happen is when you conquer here, recycle 1 of your runes. That means when I am conquering this battlefield, I have to recycle 1 of my runes. So one of my mana gems goes back into the deck. And for Marshall, when you conquer here, choose 2 runes, ready them at the end of this turn. I don't get what that means personally. You can explain that one.
So the ready them is essentially unexhaust them. So the term that we've been using is exhausted for runes. If you use them, you exhaust them.
Yeah.
So it's at the end of the turn, until it's your next turn, everything becomes exhausted if you've used it. So this one is, if I've conquered here, I can choose 2 exhausted runes and make them like usable for reaction spells or stuff like that, essentially.
Yeah, so if I take an action on my turn, Marshall still could have a spell to react to it, and by unexhausting his mana, he will have more to play with. So think of it in Runeterra terms. If even though Runeterra is like simultaneous, but I need to have 4 mana up to use my deny spell, right? So if I were to play an 8 mana unit and that's all my mana, I won't be able to play deny. But by untapping, by unexhausting 2 mana, you might have more available for those reactive spells. But let's just jump right in, and it will make more sense. The very basics here is that I'm going first, so I get 2 runes here. That is my mana. So I have 2 runes. I flip them over. This is what I can do on turn 1. I also draw 4 cards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And I can mulligan 2 of them. So I'm actually just quickly gonna go through them. So I have this card right here. Actually, let's just do it face up for now. I'm just gonna read the cards. You can just pretend that you don't hear it, okay? So I have the Blazing Scorcher, a familiar looking card. Accelerate. As I'm played, you may pay 1 red mana as an additional cost to have me enter ready. We have the Deadbloom Predator. Deflect. Opponent must pay 1 rune to choose me with a spell or effect. You may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield. So if Marshall would be conquering this one, I can just move this one right there and try to fight him. Disintegrate. Deal 3 to a unit at the battlefield. If this kills it, or draw 1. And we have another Blazing Scorcher. So I think this one is a little bit expensive. I think Marshall saw my card, but I'm already reading them out anyway. And this one, we'll also get rid of this one. So we'll put them here. And then we'll drag them. Well, oh, I can't do it. I gotta do it one by one.
You can't do it. Yeah, you gotta do it one by one.
I can't move 2 at the same time. My hands aren't slick enough for that. And then I draw 2. I don't know if you can see them actually. Okay, so that's my hand, and this is my turn 1. I don't have any playable cards, so that is just complete and utter misery. So I am going to end the turn to Marshall.
Okay, and so I start the turn. I can draw a card. So that's the first card thing I'm going to do. And then as I am the last player, so this doesn't matter if you're in a 1v1, a free-for-all, or however many people, so you can do up to 4 players. This is why if you zoom out onto the board map, there's another 2 places over on this area, so you can play with 2 other people at the same time. As I am the last person, I get to draw 3 runes. So instead of just the 2, just to start off with, for the rest of the game, I will be doing 2, just like Snnuy will be. And I'm going to play my first card, so... we know him as the River Shaper, but the Wielder of Water joins in, and he joins in and he's tired, so I play him as exhausted. And I then exhaust my mana, so my mana goes sideways. Sorry, or should I say my runes go sideways, meaning that I've used them for this turn, and I've moved him. I can't do anything else because I've used all my mana and played my card, so I'm just going to end my turn and pass it back over.
Alright, so here's what happens. Now it's my turn. I get 2 runes. You get 2 every time. I have 4 red ones right now. I also have orange runes in my deck, and that will be relevant later, but we'll explain that when we get there. So right now I have 4 red ones. I draw 1 card as well. As you can see, I still don't have a lot going on. Marshall is in his base. This square right here is the base. So when a card says deal damage to unit at the battlefield, I cannot do that because the base is not a battlefield. So the only card I can play here is this, which is the Catalyst of Eons. 4 mana. So 4 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4. And play your top 2 runes exhausted. If you can't, draw 1. So that means that exhausted and exhausted, we flip them over. So we do a little bit of ramping. We are a Volibear deck, and you know, Volibear, like in Runeterra, likes to ramp apparently. So we have 6 mana, and I will pass my turn.
Okay. So I will draw a card to start the turn. I will then ready up. There's a ready button that helpfully unexhausts all of my cards.
Mm-hmm.
So this shuffle has not been good. Please give me a... Oh, thank God. Here we go. All right, so I have 5. And then what I can do is I'm going to play a very cool card here. So don't know if you want to zoom in on this. So Stealthy Pursuer. As those that can see, there's a little symbol under the 4. which means that I have to pay a rune, that I'll have to recycle it back into the rune deck, which is over here. So
yeah,
what we can do is I can use 4 of my manas.
yeah.
And
So
then
that's the 4 to pay for it. Yeah.
Yep, and then I send 1 chaotic rune from my rune area to the deck.
So just to give a little bit of context as well, that is below the 4. If you look at my Volibear here, that is next to my deck-defining champion, there are 2 red runes under the 10 mana. So if I want to play this Volibear, I need to have 10 mana ready, and 2 of these red ones go back into my deck. That is an additional pay. As well as Sigil of the Storm. When you conquer here, recycle 1 of your runes. If I conquer here, I also need to put 1 rune back into my deck as like a punishment, I guess.
Yep. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move my Wielder of Water.
And this is important, yeah.
Targon's Peak. So when I move him, he goes from being like, he can do something to now he is exhausted. But if you read my Stealthy Pursuer, when a friendly unit moves from my location, I may move with it. So she's joining me over on the thing.
Yeah, so just really fast, I don't think that matters here necessarily, because if you are conquering a location, you can move your units there immediately. So this would be relevant if you're moving somewhere to conquer. So if I'm assuming if the Wielder of Water wanted to attack me, this could go with it immediately after playing it.
Yep,
but right now, you could move this here first. You play your Stealthy Pursuer. It goes there immediately anyway.
Straight onto the thing. Yep.
Yeah.
So my point counter, because I have now conquered this, because I'm the person holding it, I get a point. And then we read the text. When you conquer here, choose 2 runes and ready them at the end of this turn. So I'm going to choose these 2 runes here. So these are exhausted at the moment. But when I end my turn, I'm going to flip them around and say that I can actually use them. So I'll go from having 1 available mana here at the end of my turn to potentially having 3 here.
Yeah, and that's relevant for the reactive spells.
Yes. So, and with me being a Yasuo deck, think of it as like the Ionia deck in Legends of Runeterra. There's going to be a lot of reaction spells in this. So, so I'm going to pass my turn over, and then I'm going to ready these.
All right,
runes.
so ready. I draw 2 runes. I draw 1 card. Okay. So now I have 8 mana. So Marshall has 3 mana ready right here. I'm reading the Deadbloom Predator, which I think I will play for 8 mana.
Yep.
There we go. So this says, opponent must pay, I think, 1 mana to choose me with a spell or effect. You may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield. So if I move this here, I can attack your units immediately, right?
Yep. So we will look at the mites. So your Deadbloom Wanderer, where the riot icon is, has 8. And think of this as health and power.
Yeah.
So I have, you have 8, and both of my units have a total of 6. So unfortunately, I don't have any reaction spells in my hand that are going to do anything here. So you claim both of my units.
2 mana does go back into my deck, by the way, to play that. I almost forgot about that. Oh.
Yep, but we should also mention, so put the two back in, that your power over here triggers.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's also really important. So if we zoom in on that, when you play a unit with 5 or more power, you may exhaust me to play your top rune exhausted. So Volibear goes sideways, and I get 1 exhausted rune back like this. So I'm still at 7.
Yeah, essentially, the cost for this was 2, but because you have Volibear, it really only costs 1.
Exactly. Also, interesting to note, I realized with this card, River Shaper.
Yes.
So just to show, while I'm attacking or defending alone, he wasn't alone. So that's why he only had 2 power total. Plus 4 is 6. So my guy would take 6 damage.
I think you need to press the number on it.
Okay, so I would take 6 damage here normally. But that is only relevant if Marshall has a spell to react to it. If there isn't, I just heal back to full immediately. So it needs to go in 1 action, essentially.
Yeah, at the end of each combat stage, or combat, the units will heal back to full.
Yeah, so now that I have conquered the Targon's Peak, I get 1 point.
Yep, and because you've conquered it, you trigger the Targon's Peak. So you're going to choose 2 to undo at the end of the end of your turn.
Yeah. So I moved it sideways because it is exhausted, and then we get these two to be ready when I end my turn, which I am going to do right now, and then we ready them. Right, there we go.
So I am going to ready up. So turn that sideways. So I draw a card. I then get 2 runes. How am I going to do this? I think what I'm going to do is I don't want you getting a point from holding this. So when it goes back to your turn, if you're currently having a we'll call it a unit. If you have a unit on here and it starts your turn, if you're the only one there, you will gain a point.
Yeah.
And it's the first one's at 8. So I think I'm going to slow that down a little bit, and I'm going to play a Maddened Marauder.
Eat the trash.
Eat the trash. And his text says, when you play me, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. So I will pay 5. And then, he is sent over there. And that's basically just meaning that you're not going to get a point for that.
Yeah.
And I've drawn a card. I got my runes out. I can't do anything else. So I'm sending it back to you.
All right. I draw a... Oh my god. I just clicked the wrong number.
Control Z should fix that.
I don't know what... Wait, how do I have to put them all back? Okay.
No. Can you Control Z?
I'll just shuffle it afterwards.
I won't look at what you got. I'll look at my runes.
Listen, Marshall. I have a sunken temple on the board. Okay.
I just saw your hand go from like 4 to 10.
Okay, we shuffled it. Okay, I draw 1 card. Okay.
There we go.
I think that's right, but comments are probably gonna flame me for this.
I wonder if you typed 11, like you hit 1 twice.
That's possible. That's entirely possible. Okay, so I have 9 mana right now. My hand is a little bit awkward though. So I have this guy. Okay, let me see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this guy. That's 5.
Yep, so that's going to cost 5.
And then I can get 1 from my Volibear right there, because again, we play a unit with 5+ power. You may exhaust me to play your top rune exhausted. So I have 10 mana, but I can't use this one right now. So I essentially only have 4 mana. But even though my sequencing is a little scuffed, I can move this one here and then make this one follow it. So I am now conquering the Targon's Peak basically with 8+5 power. So we'll do that. I have 4 mana that I can't really use right now.
So potentially as well, what you could do here is if you send one of these, just want to talk about the accelerate text on the Blazing Scorcher.
Yeah.
So if you send your rune back to your rune deck, he would be able to essentially do something, for example, when entering. It's not going to do anything matter here because you're sending him straight to a thing, but he has the ability to do that.
Does that... Okay, I'm just going to redo for the sake of learning. So if I pay this and I put it in my deck, would he be able to move here? He would be, right? Because he's ready.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, then I'll make that play because I think that's more interesting and also teaches us more about the game. So we'll do that. We'll put that one back. So I first paid the... I think I paid 1 too many, actually. I should have 1 ready because this is 5 mana, right? Oh, no, that was the one I got exhausted from Volibear. No, that's my bad.
Yes. So yeah, you had the 5, you got 1, and then you essentially gave that one straight away to accelerate him. So now he's exhausted.
So I get 2, I conquered the peak, and I conquered this one. But because I conquered the Sigil of the Storm, I have to recycle 1 more of my runes. So this one... Okay, hold on. There we go. We'll get used to it. I'm not a big tabletop simulator kind of guy, I guess. Okay. So I also...
So you have 4 mana left.
Yeah, I can move these to the side, and then we'll enter. So these become ready now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So how do I want to do this? So I need to ready up first. I then need to get 2 runes. So just for a bit of clarification, I normally play the Volibear deck, so I'm like learning this Yasuo deck on the fly. So, okay, this is going to be an interesting one here. So, we're going to do what we talked about before, I am going to play this.
Yeah.
So it's going to cost 4 and cost 1. So it's going to cost 4, and then I'm going to send this one back to over here.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen is I am going to send my Marauder, because it's ready, over here.
Yeah.
And because he does that,
that's good. Yeah.
also joins. So what happens here is I'm starting a combat with I am dealing 8, and I'm dealing 8 to this, but you're also dealing 5. So you get the choice here to kill. If you don't have any reaction spells, you get to kill one of my units while I kill the Scorcher.
Is that how? Is it not like 1 by 1? So this would hit and then this would hit?
Yeah. So but it works all at the same time, kind of thing. So like this hits this, but like just say these hit and then this hits as it also gets hit. So like it can trade.
But both of your units have 4 power and mine has 5. Doesn't that mean this one brings it down to 1 and then this one trades again?
Yes, but it does not. It doesn't hit the power. So the health goes to 1, but the power remains at 5. It's very confusing. So like you remain at 5 power. So you always get to trade one of these. So you get to choose which one you want to kill.
I still don't understand. Because, so the way I'm seeing it is like a 5/5 if being hit by 2 4/4. So the first one brings it down to a 5/1. The second one is a 5/1 hitting into a 4/4. Don't they both die?
Yes. No, not in the sense of like that. So I'm dealing 8 and you're dealing 5. And then I'm saying that my 8 damage, I'm targeting this.
Yeah.
And then your 5, you get to hit.
I see. Okay.
How you want.
I think this is a good time to clarify that in the description of this video, I will also have the rule set. So anything we go over, if we're wrong about anything as well, this is directly in the rules. But if there's anything else we miss, make sure to point it out. So that does mean that, okay, I can choose. I will, this is a one-time effect, but it is a tank. And this is a all-time effect every time you move something. So I will choose.
Oh, that's a good point. Wait, that's a good point. Combat damage, you have to be focused this first. That's a very good point.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I don't get to choose at all.
You don't get the choice.
No choice against Ionia. It's just all misery. All right.
So I kill you, so I get the point. But unfortunately, I have conquered the Sigil of the Storm, so I have to sacrifice one of my runes. I have to send it back to the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Because I've conquered, so I got a point, but at what cost? It was the cost of a rune.
Yeah, so also really fast, cards that can be played in reaction will have the word reaction on them. I'm looking at the cards on the right here, and a lot of them have reaction. I do have a spell in my hand, but it does not say reaction, so I wouldn't be able to play it.
Correct.
All right.
But yep, so I've done that. I did all my runes, and I will pass.
All right, I click ready. I get 2 runes right here. I draw 1 card this time. And there we go. Okay, so oh, this one doesn't actually ready.
Yeah, so yeah, you're gonna have to do that one yourself.
Okay. So another interesting thing is I cannot move from battlefield to battlefield unless I have the ganking keyword. If I go over to the card list right here, I saw Vi. Vi has ganking. I can move from battlefield to battlefield. If I want to go to the Sigil of the Storm, I would have to take 1 turn to move to my base, and then another turn to go here. 2 separate actions. Which is so definitely something to keep in mind. There are obviously cards, spells, whatever effects to bypass. Oh yeah, thank you. To bypass that. But for now, this card has no ability to do that. And also, I think it comes with color, right? For example, you're playing green, or I think it's green that's pretty good about moving between battlefields. Like very fluently.
So, for example, I could use my Unforgiven, so my Yasuo Unforgiven.
Yeah.
So it would cost 2 energy, two runes. So I could tap these 2. I would then tap Yasuo, and then that would move it here next turn. And then if I wanted to, I could move it here. So Yasuo is very good at like, okay, I've conquered this one, and you're building up on another one. I'm gonna quickly change over to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I am going to play Volibear.
Okay, so that is 10 mana plus 2 Fury ones.
Yeah, so I do that, and then I will put this one and this one back into my deck, and I get 1 from this, exhausted, so there we go. So I'm essentially at 9 mana right now, but they're all tapped, so I can't actually use them. You are like that. So this has deflect 2, which means opponent must pay 2 mana to choose me with a spell or effect. When I attack, deal 5 damage split among any number of enemy units here. I think I can choose that. So if I were to attack with my Volibear, I would just deal all 5 damage here, right?
Correct, yeah. So if I had... so for example, I'm going to pull up a card from Victor. So Victor's deck, for example, has this recruit card.
Yeah.
And he's very good at printing this. So you might have like one battlefield with like 5 recruits on it. So you could say, okay, I have 5 damage. I want to do 1 to each of the recruits, and then you could kill them all off. Yeah. So it's very, very helpful for that.
Okay. So that is my turn. So I'm gonna move it to you. I have my
Shadoka.
I have my Targon Speak, so I get 2 mana readied. Not that it matters at all, but, you know. Did you get your counter, your point for the battlefield?
So I'll do my. So I've done my 2 runes. I do my my counter. I draw a card. Okay. So I am going to go for. Ooh.
So just to clarify, this little icon, opponent must pay X to choose me with a spell or effect. That's just any mana?
Yeah, so that specific thing is just a rune. So the rune is...
So just like exit like that, for example.
Must pay... No, I feel like pay refers to like I have to put it back in the...
Okay.
Maybe it is pay, yeah. Because it would say recycle, right?
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm assuming.
Pay would be... Yeah, to use a spell, it's going to cost an extra rune.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like your 4 mana spell is a 5 mana spell, essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is readied. Okay, I've got a couple of things I can do here, and I'm just not sure in what way to
I don't love it when an Aeonia deck says that.
So these are okay. So I am going to play Rebuke on your Volibear.
Return a unit at a battlefield to its owner's hand. All right.
So that goes back to your hand, but that costs me 2 mana. It then costs an extra... Oh, can I drag your Volibear just back?
Right, yeah.
So it costs 2 mana to use, but then I have to pay 2 to send it back to the deck.
Yeah.
So I lose my mana there, but then because of Volibear, I have to pay an additional...
2, yeah.
2. So, yep, that goes there. So I don't want that there anymore. And yeah, I think for now I'm just going to pass.
Okay. I will draw 1 card. Get 2. All right.
And then
yeah, and +1. I'm at 5. So I have 11 mana. Let me see. This is 4 health, right?
Yep.
I have 11. So, okay. If I do this, I play this and this, I will deal 3 and then another 3, and the second 3 will kill it, right?
Yes. So I'm just gonna...
All right. Yeah. All right.
Well, we're gonna hit the big deny on that one. So counter a spell that costs no more than 4 and no more than a single cost rune. So like if you, for example, had a spell that costs a rune.
Oh, if I had a spell that costs a rune, it wouldn't work if it costs 2 of those runes.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. So that did not do anything.
I dealt you. Essentially, you dealt 3, and then I healed back to full because of the.
Yeah. So hold on. I didn't. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I still have 3 mana. I'm gonna play this. So are you still at 1 HP? Okay, so we were not sure about the rules, so this is going to be a jump cut to a little in the future where we try to figure out how this works. We don't know if the Stealthy Pursuer goes back to full health after I use my spell, so instead what we're going to sequence it like is I'm going to play this, and I'm going to attack Marshall, and I'm going to ask Marshall, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to attack me back for 4?
And I say yes, because then I think it's going to be a trade.
Exactly, so...
I think it's going to be a kill on this.
I still think that's a little bit weird, but yeah, so that's how we do it. And then I would play this, saying
Yeah, so,
I deal 3 to you because you are now essentially going to be a 4/2.
Yeah, so what would happen is we would both trade here.
Yeah. But you have deny.
And then I had deny, so I'd say, okay, I see what you were going to do, and then I deny that.
Yeah. So then I would use the other one.
Yep. Which would then kill my thing, but then I would trade yours at the same time, and then you would trigger the kill for the draw.
Okay. So again, we are not 100% sure about this sequencing. This is something that you're just gonna have with this type of card game simulation. That will be cleared up later, but for now, this is how we're going to do it. And if that changes, I will have something in the comments about it once I know for sure how this works.
However, I will say though that your rear guard. Okay, so I just got confirmation. You heal at the end of combat. So you can use the spell to do the 3, and then start the combat to kill it. So the spell isn't classed as combat, so I don't heal after the spell. So it would go spell first.
Yeah.
You would deal 3.
Yeah. Oh, so I don't get to draw.
Yeah, so I think the way that it would work, so the confirmation there is if we just pull the cards back. So you would accelerate so that the card can attack.
Oh, right, yeah.
So then you would disintegrate. I would then be given the choice to do something. I could then just say, for example, deny. So deny goes through. So then this disintegrate is taken. So it goes to the discard pile. The other disintegrate comes in. I don't have a card for that. So you have dealt 3. So I'm on technically 1.
And then this hits.
Yeah, and then this comes in. And then we trade.
Okay, so that means I don't get the card draw. Okay.
You don't get the card draw, but you do get the kill.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so spells are not classed as combat. So as long as the sequencing is correct, you still clear out my thing, my unit.
Okay. All right, gotcha. So that means turn goes to you. These 2 are ready. All right, there you go.
Okay, so I'm playing my 2 runes. I draw a card. Okay, so I have the ability to do some stuff here. I am going to play my Cane, which is 6 and the cost of a chaotic rune. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the cost of a chaotic rune. So he goes there, and then that is all I can do. So I then pass back to you.
He says I can move from battlefield to battlefield, but the base is not considered a battlefield.
Base, yeah, because these are called battlefields. These are like your landmarks. So that is a battlefield.
Draw 1 card. All right. So I get 1 point. I'm at 6 now, and what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Catagrin. When you play me, draw 1 for each of your units with 5 or more power. So I draw 1 here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yes, thank you very much. You do the work for me. Okay. So I'm going to move this here. And this has 9, this has 8. I am going to use this, the challenge, which says choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit. They deal damage equal to their might to each other, which I'm going to use on Catagrin and your Cane. So it's a single combat.
Okay, so you're using single combat. I, in response, doesn't do anything. Unfortunately. I cannot do anything there.
Okay.
So you take my Cane.
Okay, and before I end... Oh, that was 2 mana. Before I end my turn, I'm actually going to move this back here, because this now heals to full, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to move this to my base. I have this defending, and... Is that my play, actually? Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Okay. So 2 runes. Draw a card. I'm gonna go for Yasuo. So it's 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it costs 2. So these go.
It looks so funny when the car shows like almost falling.
So these go here. So I just want to check something as well. Does my Yasuo, because it comes from the partner, I need to know if it comes playable. Because if it does, it's quite important. If it's not...
Sorry, what do you mean?
So it came from here.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, because it's a partner, if it comes in exhausted or not. I just need to double check. Because it's going to cost me the game. I
mean, I did that with my Volibear too. I would assume so, but it's good to check anyway.
Yeah, I've always assumed it. But I think... Yeah, I think it is. So, yeah. Units enter exhausted. Units can exhaust to move from base to battlefield or back to base. Play units to base or battlefield you control. Yeah, so it comes in exhausted.
Okay. So really quickly, I didn't mention it at the end of my last turn. The reason I moved this to my base is because what you would think is when a turn goes to me, I got 1 point to 7 because I am holding the Targon Speak, and then I could conquer right here for an immediate point. But that is not the case, as I found out in our previous match. So winning the game ends when a player scores 8 points. Unlike other points, the winning point can't come from just a conquer. So usually you get a point for just moving to a battlefield or taking it through a showdown, through battle. But that cannot be done. If you don't get the last point from hold, you must score all battlefields in a single turn. So I either, I think that means I either have to conquer both of them in the same turn to get the final point, or I need to have you end the turn with it going to me while I am holding a battlefield for that final point. But if I conquer something and I can't get the final point, it just gets me to draw a card, which is also pretty good.
Correct.
All right, cool.
Okay, so you sent it back over to me, right?
Yeah.
Or...
no, wait, it's still your turn.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
it was still my turn. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, so I get my my final mana point here. I draw 1 card. Okay. So I get 1 point from this. You are also ready. So if I move this here normally, you would think I get my final point, but that is not the case because of that special ruling. Okay. Let me see. So what I should do is just reinforce. So I am going to move you here. And I'm going to move you immediately here as well. That's 10 mana. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And two of those go back here. There you go. All right, thank you. That means I still have 2 mana, which I can use to play this, and I will play that here.
Just remember, you played your card.
Oh, yeah.
With things for your Volibear triggers, so you get your extra.
Exactly. Thank you, thank you. That was my final 2 mana. That's all my mana. But because I conquered Sigil, I also need to shuffle 1 back, so I'm just going to... Doesn't really matter which one. Okay. Whatever.
So are you accelerating this, Rhaegar? Did you say sorry?
No. But I conquered the Sigil of the Storm. When you conquer here, recycle one of your runes, and I didn't do that yet.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! You're putting my card in my rune deck.
Whoa. Powerful. He's turned into a rune. Poor Catherine.
Yeah. So I believe that is my turn. There you go. Your turn.
Yes, and I think I'm going to struggle trying to win here. But ready everything. So I get 2.
Hold on. Really fast. I think I missed drawing a card from conquering Sigil, right?
Yes, you did. So you can draw a card.
All right.
Because you would have got a point from conquering, but because that would have been your last point,
Yeah, exactly. So just to clarify as well, if the turn now goes to me, no wait, because I'm holding. Never mind. You can never get a point or a card draw from holding, because that means you win the game. Okay, never mind.
Yes.
Forget that.
So I need to somehow now remove all of these units in 1 action.
Yeah. In one turn.
Yeah, in one turn. Which yeah.
Yeah, 18 power here, 11 power here. You know what? Ionia's come back from worse. I believe in you, Marshall.
Yeah, I believe so too. So yeah, I could essentially, so I can attack here, which my attack then I can deal 6 before the combat. So I could do 6 damage to this.
Yeah.
So you are now at 3.
Yeah.
So 3 is your new health. And then the combat starts, and I am dealing 3 to this one.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to deal my other 3 that I have available to attack with, because I have 6 power. So I deal 3 to this one. And then I think I can also attack this one for 3.
That would surprise me, but we'll go with it.
We will go there, and I don't think it matters anyway. So because this would hit me for 9, and this one would hit me for 2. So I would essentially sacrifice my Yasuo to kill both of these.
Yeah. Is that your play? Okay.
That is my play.
Go to the trash.
And then I can yeah, I can't really do much else. I can play units, but they don't do anything. Like I can play this, which is 2, and then these 2 are gonna have to go back into the deck, the rune deck, as a cost. And then I'm gonna do it on the Volibear, so I have to pay an additional 2. So the Volibear now goes back to your hand.
Yeah.
And then I have 5 mana available, so I can play this for 3. And I can't do anything else. So I pass, and you're holding.
So I go to 8.
So you get the point and go to 8.
All right. So that is the game. GG, Marshall. GG. Thank you for holding my hand through this and explaining everything. There is still a little bit to figure out, but this is all we know with the information that we have available. And these are the starter decks that were shown at the Macau TFT tournament, if I'm saying that right.
Yes.
That's going to be it then. Again, thank you, Marshall. I will have a link to your channel in the description. So if anyone wants to check out, I don't know if you're doing any Project K content, but I think you were pretty interested in it.
Yes, I'll probably be doing a lot of coverage for this, because as those know, I like my PvP games, and I definitely have been enjoying this for the probably 24 hours that I've been playing it. So with the cards that are currently revealed, I'm going to be learning how to do this, and then hopefully I'll be able to put some guides out there so you can understand how to play the game a little bit easier. Because as you saw, it's not the easiest to try and understand at first, but like most games, once you understand it, you're going to be absolutely fluent in how to do it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be trying to do some guides at first, and hopefully help people understand how to play the game a little bit easier.
Yeah, before the official release, we're already going to be pros. So if you want to see me play the other decks, if you want to see me try Victor or Jinx or the Yasuo deck that Marshall was just playing, make sure to leave a like, to comment, and hopefully I'll see you in the next Project K video. Goodbye, everybody. See you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Thinking outside the box, Zillion Victor, time bomb printer, 1, 2, meta shifter, not a quitter, fighting for LPP.